Hey everyone, thank you for joining us today. My name is Sam. Today is day 4 of our 21 days of prayer and fasting on spiritual warfare, and I'm so excited that you are joining us today as we talk about what to do when pride attacks. We're going to be discussing this because I believe that the enemy wants nothing more than to isolate you and I from the voice and the wisdom of God in our lives and the wisdom of God that comes from the other people around us. You see, pride is actually what gets Satan kicked out of heaven. We see this in Isaiah chapter 14. Satan essentially thinks he could be a better God than God himself, and God immediately removes Satan and all of those that ally with him from heaven. And I believe that Satan wants the same thing for you and I. He wants us to isolate us, and he wants us to think that we know best so that we can just make a mess of ourselves and of our lives. I remember a point in my time that I thought, in my life, that I thought I knew what was best for me. I thought that I had it all figured out. And I was a junior in college, and I was doing a lot of extracurricular activities. I was a full-time student, had a part-time job, and I was starting this semester the hardest class I would ever take in college. That was Greek. And my Greek professor, who I had for tons of other classes, had warned me, Sam, if you don't make time for this, you're not going to pass this class. And I was an A's and B's student. I didn't struggle in school, but he said if you don't make time, you're going to fail this class. Well, I didn't take him seriously, and I decided that would be a great semester and be a really good time to join the archery team. And so I joined the archery team, and people around me had even warned me, Sam, you're doing too much. You're going to burn out. You can't keep up with this schedule. We're worried about you. And I ignored that wisdom. And I remember in that season getting burned out. And I remember being absolutely exhausted, living a schedule I couldn't keep up with, and literally getting to a point where I had an F in Greek, and I had to decide to quit the archery team. And by the grace of God and the wisdom of the people around me, I was able to get that Greek grade up to a B by the end of the semester. But I look back on that season and I see that God was doing something really intentional there. God allowed me to make a little bit of a mess of myself in that season so that he could humble me and he could prune the pride out of my heart to talk like Jesus talks in John chapter 15. In John 15, Jesus mentions that he is the vine and we are the branches, and that God the Father is the vine dresser, and that God the Father does the work in our hearts of the pruning, and that he takes things away that don't need to be there so that we can grow and we can bear more fruit. And in my life, I look at that season and I see that's exactly what God was doing. And so if you're being attacked by pride, I want to encourage you today to lean into the voice of God, lean into the wisdom of the people that God has placed in your life, and approach them with humility. Thank you for joining us today.